Ram Ram Ram. Sarvebhyah Hritpurvaka Namaskaraha. Swagatam. Welcome to class 16 of Pravesha, preparatory course for level 1 of Samskriта Bharati exams. So as you know, we have completed Namapadam in the previous class, that is noun. We have learned different lingas, that is different genders, and numbers, vachanani of nouns. So today, let us revise as usual whatever we have done in the previous class and move on to learning pronouns or Sarvanamani. Welcome once again, Swagatam to all of you. And as usual, we will begin with Guru Vandanam and our prayer shlokas. Gururev gatir gurumeva bhaje Gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave Na gurov paramam shishurasmi guroho matirasti gurau mama pahi guru Bravimi samskritam vacha dhyayami samskritam hrida kurve sevancha kayena vande samskrita mataram yonaras samskrita vyomnihyalayam ramate muda samskritin chaiva samskaram Vindate natra samshayah. So last class we learnt about number or vachanani. So before this we had completed linga or gender, and we learned that namapadam or nouns have 3 genders in Sanskrit like in any other language: pullingam, strilingam, and napumsakalingam. Then we also moved on to learning the 3 numbers in Sanskrit. So like we saw, there is a dual number, dvivachanam, apart from ekavachanam, that is singular, and bahuvachanam, plural. So we have ekavachanam, dvivachanam, and bahuvachanam. So let us quickly recap what we did in the previous class. So we all know this. So this is a recap. Yeah, pullinga shabdaha, vachanani. So let me do one thing. I will ask some of you to raise your hands. You could read it out for me so that you will, this will register better. So we need to memorize this. Like I was telling you, ashvaha, ashvahu, ashvaha, ramaha, ramau, ramaha, bhimaha, bhimau, bhimaha. So it should be very clear to you that whenever it is a pullinga shabda, that is a masculine word ending with a, akaranta, then it would follow like Rama Shabda. All these words follow. So we have certain basic shabdas we take, like for Akaranta Pullinga, the basic we take is Rama Shabda. We will learn the Shabda in future classes. So we say that anything which is Akaranta Pullinga is like Rama Shabda. So you don't have to memorize all the Akaranta Pullinga words. You memorize Rama Shabda, then you will know that all the others are similar. Okay, so let me just ask you all to read. I will unmute one by one. So request you to please go back to mute once you complete reading. Okay. Krishna Chaitanya ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ashvaha, ashvau, ashvaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. Lochani ji. R. Krishnan ji.
Namaskaram.
Namaste.
Namaste. Simha, simho, simhaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha, Mahodaya. Lochani ji. Lochani ji, I don't know, when I call your name is disappearing. Okay, no problem. Krishnan Santana Rengarajan ji. Once you complete, please lower your hand so that I can see the others.
Vrikshaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Sheila ji.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Bidalaha, bidalau, bidalaha, bidalaha.
Bidalaha. Yes. Uttamam. Manasi ji. Next one. Mansi ji, could you please repeat? I could not hear you clearly. Matsyaha.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste. Yes, much better now. Matsya. Namaste, Mansi ji. Please read. Okay. I again couldn't hear very well, but I think it's okay. I could hear very softly, but that's okay. Lalita ji, Lalita Muthuswami ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
This is Ekavachanam. Balaka Pullinga Saptaha Ekavachanani. Balakaha, Balakau, Balakaha.
No, sorry, Lalita ji, we don't say Pullinga Shabda Ekavachanani. We say all the three vachanas together. So Ekavachanam would only be Balakaha. Dvivachanam is Balakau, Bahuvachanam Balakaha. But we do not say, this you will realize once we learn the Shabda, we will learn it as Ramaha Ramau Ramaha, He Rama He Ramau He Ramaha Ramam Ramau Raman. We learn it that way. So we don't say Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam for each of them. Okay, so could you please repeat just the words, like without the vachanam?
Balakaha, Balakau, Balakaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. See, these classes are geared towards, equipping you all to learn the Shabdas. So we will have exclusive classes where you will learn multiple words, Namapadani. So from now, we will start learning in the same way so that when you reach that stage in this very course, it will be easier for you to learn the other forms. Atlani ji, next one, please.
Hari Om, madam.
Hari Om.
Okay, I go. Sarpaha, Sarpau, Sarpaha.
Uttamam, Atlani ji. Dhanyavadaha. Anil Maharaj ji.
Ram.
Ram.
Hastaha, Hastau, Hastaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Sujata Rani ji.
Syutaha, Syutau, Syutaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Next, Geeta ji, Geeta Krishnamurti ji.
Hari Om, Agni. Shruyate va?
Shruyate Geeta ji, vadatu.
Akarantaha, Pullingaha, Harinaha, Harinau, Harinaha, Harinaha.
Harinaha, yes, Uttamam. So I think 2-3 of you, the last Bahuvachanam, you first said as Hrasva and then as Dirgha. So we should remember the last words, that is the Bahuvachanam in Akaranta Pullinga is Dirgha. So Balakaha, Sarpaha, Hastaha, Syutaha, Harinaha. Ekavachanam would be Balakaha. Bahuvachanam Balakaha. So which is why the Hrasva Dirgha differentiation is very important. Once we learn reciting clearly, then we will be very clear when we see a word or when we write, we will clearly identify what vachanam it is. Dhanyavadaha. As we have already done this in the previous class, I'm asking you all to read it out because I know you didn't have a revision yesterday. So you all can read this out and then we will move to the new lesson for today's class. And the exercises for last week's lesson have already been uploaded on the portal. Kindly go through and you will have the exercise class coming Saturday as usual. Okay, so now let us move to Strilinga Shabdaha. Balika, Balike, Balikaha, like Rama, Rame, Ramaha, Lata, Late, Lataha, Shala, Shale, Shalaha. We learned Strilinga can be either Akaranta or we have also learned Ikaranta, like Nadi, Nadyau, Nadyaha. Again, I repeat this. It is not that Strilinga words only end with A or E. They can end in other ways also. For example, Mata, that is mother. Mata is a different shabda. So though it ends with A, the root of Mata is Matri. It is Matri shabda. So Rikaranta. Rikarantaha, Strilingaha, Matri shabdaha. So that would be very different. Mata, Matarau, Mataraha. It is not like Rama Shabda or Balika Shabda. It is different. But we will learn Matru Shabda also. We will learn in Pravesha. But let us go slow for now. And all the very common words we are introducing at this stage. So A and E, words ending with A and E, let us learn. Going further, we will learn others also, like Rikaranta Strilinga, Ikaranta Strilinga, etc. Okay. So those who have already read out, please lower your hand. Kishori ji.
Ram Ram Bhagini.
Ram Ram Ram.
Mala Male Malaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Priyadarshini ji. Oh, Anne-Marie Bhagini, yes, you can go ahead. Next, I will ask Priyadarshini ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Anguli, Angulyau, Angulyaha.
Uttamam. Uttamam, Anne-Marie ji. Very well done. E Karanta. So this is an example for E, like Nadi, Nadyau, Nadyaha. Ankani, Ankanyau, Ankanyaha. Similar to that. Next, Priyadarshini ji. Please unmute.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaste.
Kupi, Kupyau, Kupyaka.
Uttamam, Priyadarshini ji. Dhanyavadaha. Chitra ji.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaste.
Mahila, Mahile, Mahilaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Vasanti ji.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaste.
Tula, Tule, Tulaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Okay, next. Those who have already said, please lower your hands. Lakshmi ji, Lakshmi Ramasubramanian ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Shaka, Shake, Shakaha.
Here, Lakshmi ji, the Kha Mahaprana should be heard clearer. Shakha. Yes.
Shaka, Shake, Shakaha.
Shakha.
Shakaha.
So we should be very clear about Alpa Prana, Mahaprana, Rasva, Dirgha, and all these will make a difference. Dhanyavadaha,
Okay.
Lakshmi ji. Very well chanted. Next. Chaya Vaidya ji.
Balika, Balike, Balikaha.
Uttamam. R. Krishnanji. Okay, I don't find his name now. Darshani ji.
Ram Ram Ram.
Ram.
Amba, Ambe, Ambah.
Uttamam Darshini ji. Dhanyavadaha. So you see that Amba Shabda is like Rama, Mahila, Tula, Shakha, Akaranta Strilinga. But Mata is not like these. The reason is because, like I already told you, the root is what we see to determine how the Shabda goes. So the root of Mata is Matri. Similarly, the root of Pita is father, and it is a Pullinga Shabda in Sanskritam. So Pita is also Rikaranta Pullinga because it is Pitri Shabda. Pitra is the root. Matra is the root. So Mata, Pita, very common words. Let us be clear. Mata, Pita, the roots are Matra, Pitra respectively. Matra is Rikaranta Strilinga, Pitra is Rikaranta Pullinga. And similarly, another very common word, Raja. Like, you know, Raja means king. In Sanskrit also, it is Raja. It is not Raja. And Raja is Nikara. It is Rajan Shabda. The root of Raja word is Rajan. So that would be Nikaranta Pullinga Shabda. We will learn those special Shabdas later. Raja word, again, we should, it is a very, it is an exceptional word because whenever we use Raja on its own, Raja Gacchati, the king goes. But when it is combined with another word, what we call Samasta Padam or compound word, like for example, when it is Maharaja, there the word becomes Maharajaha. Maharajaha Gacchati. That is by virtue of a sutra. Whenever Raja Shabda, Rajan, and there are a few other words like that, when they combine with other words and they become one word, a compound word like Maharajaha, then they become like Rama Shabda. But on their own, they are a different Shabda. Raja is Rajan. So it's a different Shabda. These things, very common words, if you know the rules, it would help in sentence construction, etc. Okay, we will now see Ikaranta Strilinga examples. Sheetalji.
Nadi, Nadyo, Nadyaha.
Yes, you could prolong the Ikaranta slightly, Nadi, like to know that, to stress that it is a Dirgha, slightly more. Dhanyavadaha, Sheetalji. Nadi, Nadyau, Nadyaha. Anandiji. Anandiji, please unmute.
Can you hear me, Ram?
Yes, I can hear you, Anandiji.
Thank you. Kupi, Kupyau, Kupyaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Lochaniji. First Lochaniji ji, then Sugandhi ji. Lochaniji. Okay, I don't see Lochaniji's name anymore. Sugandhi ji.
Ram Brunda ji.
Ram.
Ghati, Ghatyau, Ghatyaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Next, Lochani ji, I can see your name again. Please unmute.
Yeah.
Darvi,
Darvyau, Darvyaha.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Ganesh ji.
Sammarjani, Sammarjanyau, Sammarjanyaha.
Uttamam, Ganesh ji. Dhanyavadaha. So if there are more than, if there are more people attending from one account, please tell me. I will give all of you a chance to recite. Nirmala ji, now let us move to Napumsakalingaha. Nirmalaji, please read out.
Ha, ma'am. Phalam, phale, phalani.
Ha. First I heard it as
Phalam,
pa.
sorry. I
It
said
is
pa. Phalam, phale, phalani.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Just one more thing for Napumsakalinga, all of you please note. While reciting the last word or saying the last word, phalani, we should be very clear to stress that it is a hrasva. It is not phalani. For example, nadi, there it is e. Here it is phalani, jnanani. Okay, so grihani. In that way, we should be clear so that when we chant itself clearly, then it will register very well. So we don't have to go back and look at the slides or the notes or the book to see what is it. So our Guru, Vidushi Anantalakshmi Mahodaya, while teaching us Shabdas, used to stress. She used to make us prolong the Dirghas and, make the Hrasvas short, very clearly, very distinctly, so that it will be very clear a mistake. So while learning itself, if we learn that way, then your foundation will be very strong. Next. Sanjeev ji. Sanjeev ji. Namaste.
Pustakam, pustake, pustakani.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Shivashankar ji. Shivashankar ji, then Vijay Kumar ji. Just a second, I don't know why I can't find Shivashankar ji's name. Shivashankar ji, yes. The first one, Shivashankar ji. Once again.
Vanam, vane, vanani.
Uttamam, Uttamam Mahodaya. Dhanyavadaha. Vijay Kumar ji, next one.
Jnanam, jnane, jnanani. Jnanam, jnane, jnanani.
Uttamam. So this word jnanam, we should pronounce it accurately like we learned when we learned the Vyanjanas. It is jna. Jnanam, jnane, jnanani. Okay, next we have Rajashri Arya ji. Rajashri Acharya, sorry. Rajashri Acharya ji.
Kamalam, kamale, kamalani.
Uttamam. Dhanyavadaha. Jawahar Kannan ji.
Ram Ram ji.
Ram Ram.
Pushpam, pushpe, pushpani.
Once again.
Pushpam, pushpe, pushpani.
Uttamam. So we see that for Pushpam, it is Pushpani. It is Ni. That is Na and not Na. There is a difference, right? When you see Vanani, Jnanani, Kamalani, they are ending with Na. That is Tatha, Datha, Na. And this Pushpani, it is ending with Na. The other Na, Tatha, Datha, Na, that one. So we need to be careful. We learned the Natvam rule. You all had some doubts which you had emailed me about also. So we will revise Natvam and then we will move to today's lesson. Dhanyavadaha Jawahar-ji. So Pushpani. Again, while reciting these words or reading out these words, we should be clear to differentiate between Na and Na. Sarojini-ji.
Chatram, chatre, chatrani.
Uttamam. Okay, so let us come to the Natvam rule. Like we learnt in the last class, whenever we have these three letters, which we can call as nimitta letters, which are r, sh, and r. So this is Retha, that is the Vyanjanam, sh, the Murdhanya Shakara, and r, which is a Swara. Then we get the Natvam rule. So what is the Natvam rule? Basically, Wherever there is na, that is vanani, kamalani, jnanani, it is na in the end, that becomes na, natvam. As the rule itself says, you see this, natvam, na. Na is na replaces na. So we are learning it at a very basic level. There are other rules also for this, but let us learn at a very basic level and very common words. So vanam vanani, phalam phalani, pustakam pustakani, jnanam jnanani, geetam geetani. This is for ekavachanam bahuvachanam. Whereas chatram becomes chatrani. Why? Because there is ra there, repa. Patram, again there is ra. Patrani. Nakshatram, we all know that ksha has k and sha, murdhanya sha combined. Therefore, it becomes nakshatrani. Also, there is a ra. There are both letters are there. Therefore, nakshatrani. Pushpam, sha is there. So, it becomes pushpani. Bhakshyam, again we have k plus sha, murdhanya sha. Therefore, it becomes bhakshyani. Okay, so the natvam rule, we learned that whenever these three letters, r, sh and r are there, then n gets replaced by n. Okay, then which are so the Panini Sutras give us that the rules in Sanskrit give us what are the letters to allow natvam. So the letters where, meaning whenever we have this r, sh or r, these three letters, and you have the other letters in this particular table, swaraha or kavargaha or pavargaha or h, y, v, then we allow natvam. So when don't we allow natvam? So when any letters other than these letters are there, then natvam is blocked. For example, when you have the nimitta letters, that is r, sh and r, and you have also a chavarga letter, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya, or ta, tha, da, dha, na, or tavarga, ta, tha, da, dha, na, or sh, and s, then natvam is blocked. So for example, you see this word Rashinam. What is happening here? I will annotate for you to make it clearer. So if you see Ra, there is a Ra here, right? So this is a nimitta letter. So it should have been Na according to the Natvam rule. But it is not replaced. It is retained as Na only because we have the letter blocking Natvam, which is Sha. So if you see here, Sha is a letter which blocks Natvam. Therefore, Rashinam. And similarly, in the next word, Kashtena. So you have Sha, which is a nimitta letter for Natvam to happen, whereas it also has a Tavarga letter, that is Ta. Therefore, Natvam is blocked and becomes Na. And some of you asked me why Sha is here. So like I said in block Natvam, so like I said, these are the letters which allow Natvam, and the other letters we take them as they block Natvam. So one example I thought of, but it is not I will explain it in detail to you. When you take the word Shashtena, for example, I will just Sha, Shashtena. There's one word like this. So it is used as an adjective, like for example, when you have to say Shashtena Putrena, by the sixth son, something like that. So there you have two shas coming in the same word. So you can take one as the nimitta sha and one as the sha which blocks Natvam. But here also there is another catch here, that is you also have a Tavarga letter which is Tha. Therefore here one sha is there and you have two letters, sh and tavarga letter ta, which are blocking natvam. Therefore, it remains as na and natvam doesn't happen. Okay, so that is one way to take it. I am looking if I can find any examples where there are just two shas without any other letter blocking natvam. In case I find them, I will share them with you. And we also learned that when n is at the end of the word, it remains unchanged. For example, Raman. So you have ra here, which is a nimitta letter for natvam, whereas it is not changed because it is at the end. So Raman doesn't become Raman. It becomes it remains as Raman when n is at the end of the word. So this is natvam. Actually, there are different ways of learning a language. One is we just naturally pick up. So when we learnt as school children, maybe when we were very young, 5, 6 years old, 7, 8 years old, that's when we learnt a lot of shabdas. There we never learned the natvam rule at all. The way our guru taught us was we learnt the natvam rule much later to understand why na is becoming na. The way we learned was we sat with our guru and she would repeat the shabdas. She would make us sit in a group, small group sitting next to her. Each one would say each vibhakti. So one would say Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha. Next person would say Ramam, Ramau, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. And she would make us thorough, repeating it multiple times. The reason I'm sharing this is a lot of them tell us, oh, we have to memorize shabdas initially in Sanskrit. So it requires a lot of practice and it helps to listen also. So we have products which I will also share when we do the shabdas in detail, where you can listen, you can see the shabda and you can practice. So it needs a lot of practice. This, when we learn shabdas and Sanskritam from your childhood, then you repeat this multiple times every year with your gurus and classes. That's how you get. So it is not difficult. It's just that we need practice and we need consistency. So if we just memorize, say, 1 week and leave it the next week, then we tend to forget. So consistently, if we go on reciting the shabdas and listening, then definitely it will become your own. You will never forget. You will reach a point where even if you revisit it after many years, it will still remain very clear. So even the natvam rule, we learned shabdas, and wherever there was natvam, automatically, because the shabda has natvam, like Rama Shabda, Ramena, na, there it is, natvam is there. Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi. So we just learnt it as a matter of fact. We are listening to Ramena, it just registers as Ramena. Then much later, when we learned the natvam rule, we realized, oh, this is why there is na. This is why na is becoming na. So shabdas, when we learn, we should just become very thorough with them so that we don't have any doubt when we use any noun in any case or in any vibhakti. For now, let us memorize just ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam, whatever is there. Then we will, when we move to lessons and come to shabdas, we will learn the entire table. Okay, so now let us come to Sarvanamani, pronouns. And just to share another thing before we move to Sarvanamani, every class before we began the Sanskrit studies, our guru would make us recite multiple shabdas. So that was a feature of every class. So we go on reciting shabdas, then rare shabdas, then similar to what shabdas we have learned, then we start the class. So when we do it multiple times, it comes naturally. So it doesn't, then you don't feel it is difficult or it is tough or anything like that. Okay, so now let us come to pronouns. So as we all know, a pronoun is a word which is used instead of a noun or in the place of a noun. For example, Rama was the son of Dashratha. He was a great warrior. So when we say he is a pronoun. Sita is a Sita was the Sita was the daughter of Janaka Maharaja. She accompanied Rama to the forest. So there she is a pronoun. So we all know this. In other languages also we have. So in Sanskritam also we call pronouns as Sarvanamani, and we have to learn the 3 forms and the genders of Sarvanamani like we learnt for Namapadam, for noun. So let us see some pronouns. Eshaha, Saha. Very commonly used. Eshaha and Saha. So let us see what they mean. So this is in masculine gender, Ekavachanam. Eshaha means this, generally used for a noun close by. For example, this is Rama. Eshaha Ramaha. When you are pointing to someone very close to you in terms of proximity physically, standing close to you, sitting close to you, then we use Eshaha. For example, if I have to tell you in Kannada, for those who know Kannada, it would be Ivanu Rama. And for someone far away, it would be Avanu Rama. So someone far away, you would say that person is Rama, or he is Rama. Saha, that is Saha in Sanskrit. Eshaha Ramaha, someone close by. Saha Ramaha, he is Rama, when you're referring to someone far away. So he generally for a noun at a distance for masculine gender. So let us see. Eshaha Balaha, this is a boy. So please note this. We have illustrated this with animations for you to understand. Please note the index finger pointing here. Eshaha Balaha, close by. Whereas for the next one, next let's see. Saha Vrikshaha. That is a tree. So here you have, there is a distance between the person pointing and the tree. Therefore, Saha Vrikshaha. So another thing we have to be careful about is in English, when we translate, it wouldn't make sense to say he is a tree, because we don't say he in English, because according to the rules of English grammar, a tree is in neuter gender. So we say that is a tree. But in Sanskrit, we don't say tat vrikshaha. Tat means that for neuter gender. We don't say that. So it is very important to note that, sorry, we'll go back to the previous slide. Yes, so it's very important to note that the pronoun which we use follows the noun, like in any other language. So it follows the linga and the vachana and the vibhakti, the case. So here at this stage, we are only learning prathama vibhakti, that is the first case. But as we move to other vibhaktis, other cases, you will know that always the pronoun follows the linga, vibhakti and vachana of the noun. So if you see here, Eshaha and Saha. The reason we are using Pullinga Ekavachana is because Balaha is in Pullinga Ekavachana. Vrikshaha is in Pullinga Ekavachana. The pronoun follows the linga vibhakti vachana of the noun. The anta doesn't matter. Meaning, Eshaha Balaha, Eshaha Raja. So Raja, like I said, is a different, it's Nakaranta. So the anta doesn't matter. So Esha Nadi, Sa Nadi, Esha Rama. But the linga vibhakti and the vachana matter. So Eshaha Balaha. Because Balaha is in singular Ekavachanam and Pullinga, the pronoun follows. Similarly, Saha Vrikshaha. Grammatically, tree is in Pullinga. Vrikshaha is in Pullinga in Sanskrit. Grammatically, the word is Pullinga. And it is Ekavachana, of course, here. So, Saha Vrikshaha. While translating, if you want to do translation word by word, Saha would be he and Vrikshaha would be tree. But in English, like I said, we don't say he is a tree, we say that is a tree. That is because we adhere to the rules of English grammar when we write or speak in English. This is just for your clarification, I'm telling you, because even when we say, when you are given a sentence in English, say, that is a tree, and Sanskrit, translate to Sanskrit, we should not say tat vrikshaha, we should say saha vrikshaha, because always the pronoun follows the linga and vachana of the noun. More examples. Eshaha kakaha, this is a crow. Saha shukaha, he is a parrot. Eshaha shashaha, this is a rabbit. Saha mushakaha, he is a rat. Next, let us come to dvivachanam. Etau balau, these two are two boys close by. So we learned balaha, balau, balaha. So similarly, now we are learning the dvivachanam for etad shabda. Eshaha is singular, etau is balau, etau balau, these two are boys. Tau vrikshau, those two are trees. Etau balau, tau vrikshau. Etau shashau, these two are rabbits. Tau mushakau, those two are mice or rats. Ete balah, now you see we came to bahuvachanam, pullinga sarvanamani, bahuvachanam. Ete balaha, these are boys. Te vrikshaha, those are trees. So let us see as a table how we get this. Eshaha, etau, ete. We have to memorize this again. Eshaha, etau, ete. Eshaha, etau, ete. Eshaha, etau, ete. Please keep repeating, and you can, and also if you write it down and check, it registers better. Eshaha, etau, ete. For someone close by in pullinga. Saha, tau, te, for someone far away. So, eshaha, etau, ete, saha, tau, te, eshaha, etau, ete, saha, tau, te. We should be very clear about how we represent in singular, dual, and plural. This is for only pullinga. Now we come to the similar words, similar pronouns in strilinga. Esha and sa. So like you know by now, Esha, Esha, Rama. This is Rama for someone close by. Sa, Nadi. She is a river. I'm translating literally. I'm not saying that is a river. She, or Sa Radha. She is Radha. So that is how we do in Sanskrit. So in Kannada, if you see Avalu, that is Avalu is far, far away, and close by would be Ivalu. In Telugu, for those who want Telugu reference, it would be Adi for someone who is far, and Idi for someone who is near. Esha, this generally for a noun close by, feminine gender. Sa, generally for a noun at a distance, feminine gender. Let us see examples. Esha Mala. She is a garland, or this is a garland. Sa Shala. That is a school. Again, literally translating, it would be Sa is she. Shala is school. So Esha Mala. This is a garland because it is closer to the person referring to the garland. Sa Shala, farther away from the person referring. So, Sa. Shala is strilinga, please note. Esha Kupi, this is a bottle. Sa Balika, she is a girl. Esha Ankani, this is a pencil. Sa Nadi, she is a river. Now dvivachanam. Ete male, these two are garlands. Te shale, those two are schools. Ete ankanyau, these two are pencils. Ankani, ankanyau. So like I said, the anta doesn't matter. Mala, ankani. One is akaranta. Mala is akaranta. Ankani is ikaranta. But ete remains the same in both because we are concerned with the linga and the vachanam. So ete ankanyau. These two are pencils. Te nadyau. Those two are rivers. Etaha malaha. These are garlands. Taha shalaha. Those are schools. Etaha ankanyaha. These are pencils. Taha nadyaha. Those are rivers. So let us see the table. Esha, ete, etaha. Strilinga sarvanamani. Esha, ete, etaha. For close by, when you're referring to something or someone close by. Sa, te, taha. Sa, te, taha. We must memorize this. Esha, ete, etaha. Sa, te, taha. So I hope this is clear. Now we have learned pullinga. So we have learned eshaha, etau, ete for pullinga. In strilinga we have learned esha, ete, etaha. And in pullinga we have learned saha, tau, te. And in strilinga we have learned sa, te, taha. So now let us learn in napumsakalinga, neuter gender. Etat and tat. Etat pustakam. This is a book. Tat, when you say tat, what can I say? Tat jnanam or tat chatram. So when you're referring to something far away from you. Or tat parnam. That is a leaf. Etat, this generally for a noun close by of neuter gender. Tat, generally for a noun at a distance neuter gender. Let us see examples. Etat phalam. This is a fruit. Tat kamalam. That is a lotus. Etat chatram. This is an umbrella. Tat griham. That is a house. Ete phale in dvivachanam. Ete phale. These two are fruits. Te kamale. Those two are lotuses. So in pullinga also we come across ete and te, but in a different vachanam, right? In pullinga eshaha, etau, ete, saha, tau, te. There it is bahuvachanam. In napumsakalinga etat, ete, tat, te. So ete, te in napumsakalinga are dvivachanam. How do we understand whether it is pullinga bahuvachanam or napumsakalinga dvivachanam? Based on the noun. So when you see phale or kamale or grihe or chatre as the words, nouns, you will know that they are napumsakalinga words. Therefore, ete, te, when you use it with napumsakalinga words, it is dvivachanam. Ete, chatre, these two are umbrellas. Te, grihe, those two are houses. Etani, phalani, these are fruits. Tani kamalani. Those are lotuses. Etani chatrani. These are umbrellas. So see a very good example to understand natvam. Etani. It is na here. Chatrani. Na. Natvam here because there is repha here or ra. In chatram, you know, tra is t plus ra. So chatrani. Tani grihani. Those are houses. Again, here natvam is happening because you have r, the swara r in griham shabda. Therefore, grihani. Those are houses. Let us see the table. Etat, ete, etani in napumsakalinga. Tat, te, tani. Etat, ete, etani. Tat, te, tani. So, let us revise all the pronouns for etad shabda. In pullinga, eshaha, etau, ete. In strilingam, esha, ete, etaha. In Napumsakalingam, etat, ete, etani. Okay. Once again, I will just read out. Pullingam, eshah, etau, ete. Strilingam, esha, ete, etaha. Napumsakalingam, etat, ete, etani. We will note that there are some similarities. For example, here, ete, you see here, here, and here. So like I said, in Pullingam, it is Bahuvachanam. In Strilingam and Napumsakalingam, it is Dvivachanam. So when you are given a word just as ete and asked to identify, you can say Pullingam Bahuvachanam and Strilingam Napumsakalingam Dvivachanam. But if it is used in context with a sentence or in context of a noun, then you should see the noun's linga or the gender of the noun to see which ete is it. Is it Pullinga Bahuvachana or Strilinga Napumsakalinga Dvivachanam? Next we will see for Tad Shabda. So Pullingam Saha Tau Te, Strilingam Sa Te Taha, Napumsakalingam Tat Te Tani. Once again I will read. Pullingam Saha Tau Te, Strilingam Sa Te Taha, Napumsakalingam Tat Te Tani. So here again similarities like Etad Shabda itself. You have Te here as Pullinga Bahuvachana, Te as Strilinga Dvivachanam, and Te as Napumsakalinga Dvivachanam. We should know clearly that Te is used in these places. Depending on the noun, we'll be able to identify which linga it is. Okay, so I think we should stop here for now. Yes, so we can just read this and stop. Eshaha etau ete. Sorry, there's a little, the line is not aligned properly. I shall rectify that. Saha tau te, esha ete etaha, sa te taha in Strilingam. In Napumsakalingam, etat ete etani, tat te tani. Like I have been requesting you all, please, whatever we teach each class, we are going at a very slow pace actually. And the introductory classes, we are taking quite some time because there are a few who are completely new to the language, and it is our endeavor to see that everyone learns. So for some of you, this might be repetitive and this might be slow. But once we start the lessons, then we will be picking up pace. So request you all to please learn, especially those who are learning for the first time, to get familiar with these words and learn these words each class. So by next class, if you have memorized this table of Sarvanama, then when we do the Shabda and when we have to learn 7 into 3 or 8 into 3 for all the nouns, it would become easier for you. So please do it as we do it. If you don't accumulate a lot, then it will become easier. So with this, let us conclude today's class. I will, as usual, look at the questions.